Well, hello everyone. Philosopher Stoner here, coming at you live, making another video. So, I have changed my name yet again. I originally was Philosopher Stoner 666, and my last video I mentioned that I changed it to 777. I've been doing a lot more research into the occult. Now, I'll say once again for the record that I think the occult, it's all, wooey bullshit. I maintain a sort of skepticism, irrational egoism. I think all religions ultimately have a destructive influence in society, that they're a bad thing, that they hold us back as a species, all that sort of stuff. But I am more sympathetic to, say, Christianity, at least certain threads in it, and antinatalist undertones in a lot of obscure Christian sects that I've already mentioned in some of my other videos, like Catharism, Bogomilism, Manichaeanism, and Priscillianism. Like I said, if you look into those sects, you'll find out that they recognized that birth was the problem, not necessarily death. Anyway, so doing some research, more and more research on the occult, because I think our society, we're under kind of a hypnotic, not a spell, it's for lack of a better word, but yeah, almost like a spell, that there are these secret mystery religions that are operating in society that we only know little bits and pieces about. So examples would be like the ancient mystery religions of ancient Babylon, the mystery religions of ancient Egypt, things like Wiccanism, paganism, Satanism. But then again, Satanism is sort of a hodgepodge. It is a smorgasbord of a bunch of different things, all sorts of, like I said, it's all sort of amalgamated into one thing. But anyways, so my name, Philosopher Stoner 777. I was doing some research. Just show it on the screen here. 777 and other Kabbalistic writings of Aleister Crowley. He wrote a book about it. I can go into Google here and type 777 meaning, and then it's supposedly in Christianity it's the angel number. So then what does Crowley do in his writings? His Thelema religion, which is basically like a type of Satanism. It's different from the Anton LaVey Satanism. Anton LaVey was basically an atheist that was bored and wanted to see some boobies and that sort of thing, and so he made up his own little religion. This guy Crowley is the real Satanist. They're big on inversion, right? So black is white, good is evil, evil is good, that sort of thing. So he took a number like 777, which is supposedly the angel number, and made it his own thing. So all of these numbers, it goes back to this thing. I'm going to search it on Wikipedia here. It's this thing here, and you can see it on the screen, gematria, which is right that the letters all have a number. So A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, that sort of thing. And you can use it to spell words. All these numbers have symbolic meanings. They have significance. They mean different things. So I'm staying the fuck away from any kind of numbers. I don't want to have anything to do with it. It's all a bad scene. I guess that's my general point. But like I said, just interesting stuff. So I was looking into more of the Pizzagate stuff. Once again, I made my last 2 videos on the subject. And so I'm just going to show you guys something that I found out today. I'm just going to open the folder here. Let me see, where the frig is it? It's loading up. It's loading up. I should be better prepared, but I'm not. So you're just gonna have to fucking deal with it if you want to watch my videos. So yeah, that's the art, right? If we remember the art in Tony Podesta's house, who's the brother of John Podesta. Let me see. I can't find it. Oh, for fuck's sakes! I'll search it on Google here. Yeah, Tony Podesta art. See, it comes right up. Images. This thing here. God damn it. You can see it there, right? So that's an artwork that's in his house. A lot of people have talked about it ad nauseum, right? And supposedly you can see right there, that's the art we're pointing to of the mouse. And that's a pose of a Jeffrey Dahmer victim, the cannibal serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. It gets really weird because supposedly it's a reference to this, that the man curved like that is to this. It's loading up. Come on, hurry the fuck up. This guy. Do you see that? I'm pointing to it with my mouse. This figure here, this art here, reminiscent of a tarot card. It's called the Ancient of Ancients, and it's supposedly something to do with the Masons, the Freemasons, and it symbolizes all kinds of stuff. And there's not a lot of information about it, but like I said, notice that. So Dahmer was into the occult, and just reading certain blog posts and stuff of his connections to guys that were in the Masons, and he was obsessed about it. So it's just these things all have meaning to these people. These people love symbols, they love codes, they love this weird, sick art stuff. It all has a meaning to them. So anyways, I'm going to go back. Okay, so that's enough of that. I was doing some reading, through this Pizzagate stuff and what I just showed you, the Ancient of Ancients. And then I was doing reading of other similar cases. And then there's this case. I found this on Consortium News about the Detroux case. And what it has in common is that it became a big scandal once again due to WikiLeaks. So this guy, Marc Detroux in Belgium, this guy's a real sick piece of shit. Goes into all this stuff that supposedly he was in allegedly a part of a big national or international pedophile ring, and it was a big scandal in Belgium. They had like a march, 300,000 people, supposedly one of the largest protests they've ever had, because they believed that the government really screwed up the case and botched the fact that he was part of a larger network, that he wasn't just a lone sicko, that he was working as a group. And there were allegations of this thing, satanic ritual abuse. Yet again, so this stuff, there's just so many cases of it. So many cases. And then I was reading about this and watching videos. This guy, Ted Gunderson, the McMartin preschool case. In this case, the McMartin preschool case is when the satanic ritual abuse started what's called the satanic panic in the United States, where people really started thinking there were all these cults operating, doing molesting children and doing human sacrifices and stuff, and they took it seriously enough to create this. I'm gonna show you on Google here. DOJ. Da, 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 da. Yeah, this here. You can search Department of Justice Satanic Manual. And here, I'm going to open it up here. And you can download it. It's a very interesting read. I read it a long time ago in addition to this book. Yeah, sure, I'll show it on the screen. Isn't that fucking creepy? So the U.S. government took it seriously enough that they issued this manual to train the people in the Department of Justice on this subject. And so if you read this, it gets into all details of what they do, the specifics of the rituals, all the important holidays and ceremonies that they do, and all sorts of very interesting information. It's a very interesting read. It's only like 50 pages. It's worth checking out. So why am I interested in all this stuff is because it has to do with that show I've talked about before in many of my other videos called True Detective, the one with Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey, that features the antinatalist character Rust Cole, that's influenced by Thomas Ligotti and Emil Cioran and all the pessimistic antinatalist writers. And the backdrop of the show is dealing with this subject, satanic ritual abuse, in their investigation in the show. And the actual SRA, satanic ritual abuse stuff, is based on what I just mentioned, that book, the Franklin Cover-Up. And that you can easily search Google, the Franklin Cover-Up by John DeCamp. And that's a very interesting read. It's well worth a read. Like I said, you can find it free on Google. That there's too many of these cases for it all to be, one or two is just some sort of crackpot. It could be a conspiracy, but they keep cropping up. And then there was that whole Pizzagate thing. This is a real thing. There's all this symbolism out there. This stuff, I don't personally believe that there's real demons or angels or this or that, but there's people out there that believe in it, and they're using it to justify doing heinous stuff to children, and human sacrifice and ritual cannibalism and all kinds of, keeping children in cages and doing all sorts of really horrific stuff, and it needs to be exposed. I can go on and on all day about the kooky Christians and the kooky Muslims and the kooky Jews and et cetera, and really, I can challenge those religions, but what's more important, I think, to challenge is this myth in civilization and this myth of human progress, that really things haven't really changed. There's all sorts of mystery religions that are still out there, that still exist, that people believe in. So that I'm sort of maybe schizophrenic. I'm just going to go back to it because I remember stuff and I forget stuff and whatever. This guy, the Ancient of Ancients, it's a reference to the goddess Nut, Nui, which is the Egyptian goddess of the night sky. So again, there's these people, they believe in all this weird stuff, and they're making all sorts of weird, cryptic, sly references to, ancient mythology and this and that, and it's bothersome because they're doing some really heinous, awful stuff, but it's like I said, it's intelligent, it's intellectual, it's erudite, sophisticated, clever, it's just interesting. I'm going to show something else here. Oh yeah, this. So when I was researching the Detroux case, some of the comments and some of the articles I was reading led to this other case, very obscure case, called Le Ballet Rosé, which is French for pink ballet. And it's a case that happened in 1959 in Paris, in France, that was like a sexual abuse case. You can even, I'm going to show some images here, right? You can even see, right, the old pervert dude with the young woman. And then where's the other image? Yeah, the president of the National Assembly, André Le Troquet, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, Troquet, Anyways, there's not a lot of information about it, but it's one of the earlier cases of, again, where they had these elaborate weird parties with all elite politicians and business leaders and blah, 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 doing all these weird perverted rituals in these places called pink rooms and stuff. And then they also had the opposite for boys, blue ballets. So it's just interesting. There's a lot of pattern recognition in this stuff that it made me think. People had been mentioning in the Tony Podesta emails, there was an image of Tony Podesta wearing, with a bunch of his friends and buddies, wearing red shoes. It then came up again in the Epstein case, where I'm going to Google and show that image of Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky dress, red shoes. Yeah, here it is. This painting was found in Jeffrey Epstein's, one of his mansion apartments, and it's Bill Clinton wearing a blue dress like Monica Lewinsky wearing red shoes. And then it came up, there was also the painting of George W. Bush sitting on the floor playing with a paper airplane with Jenga towers falling, like the two towers. Very, like funny in a very juvenile sort of way, but also sick. So I'm going to pull it up. Tony Podesta, red shoes. Yeah, here it is. Here's the image. Right? See how that's Tony Podesta right there. I'm pointing to with my mouse. And they're all wearing red shoes. And it comes up in a few other places as well. So when I was searching that Ballet Rosé thing, a lot of the images are pink roses and then pink ballet slippers. But of course it makes sense, right? Pink ballet, there'd be ballet slippers. But I think that they're doing sly innuendo and hints that they're even maybe possibly alluding to this thing, Ballet Rosé, with these red shoes. It's some kind of, like, it could be a coincidence, but it obviously means something to these people. So here, I'm going to search it again. Yeah, Ballet Rosé. Search it. Right, you see, okay, yeah, flowers, blah, blah. Where is it? Where, come on. It's yeah, see, like right here? See, right, the slippers, the shoes, it's pink. And then it also made me think of my Pizzagate video that I did a few videos ago. I mentioned the part where 9 minutes into the Mouthy Buddha Pedogate 2020 video, there's the weird characters, the guy Joshua Ryan Vogelson that dresses as a drag queen. There's a motif of pink with that guy, and he has like pink eye contact lenses and stuff. And also, by the way, that Mouthy Buddha Pedogate 2020 video got taken down. And he made a follow-up video that he's going to do a second part. But yeah, that video got taken down. YouTube took it down. So we're that these conspiracies, right? It could be all conjecture. It could all be speculation. It goes in a lot of weird directions. Seems schizophrenic, but if it's all bullshit, why take it down? What are they trying to hide? They're definitely, is it all 100% true? But no, I think people are on to something. I think there's at least kernels of corn in the shit that are true. There's that old saying, right? A broken clock is right twice a day. It's maybe like something like that. There's pattern recognition. There's stuff that keeps coming up that it's all just really suspicious. It just raises a lot of questions. It's like, whoa, what the fuck is all of this about? And they use these symbols to hint at stuff and sort of talk to each other in code. And I don't see it as being very far-fetched, right? It's like marijuana used to be illegal, right? Well, it's legal in my country now, in Canada.
But for years, for decades, there were all sorts of slang terms for marijuana, right? Ganja, Mary Jane, etc. All sorts, dozens of them. That was like a kind of code language for people using marijuana because it was illegal. People didn't want to get into trouble, so they developed also all sorts of words. My favorite one was trees. That's a little bit, in the ebonics, what they call marijuana trees. I liked that one. Anyways, yeah. So there's all these code words and terms and symbolism and stuff, and it all means something. It's all it's all very suspicious, and yeah, it's creepy. Oh yeah. So one last thing. I'm gonna pull it up on Google here. Do. FBI pedo symbol images here. Right, so this is one of the FBI documents that was released on WikiLeaks. It's a 2007 unclassified FBI document with the pedo symbols, right? So you see that swirl? That's the little boy lover logo. I was doing research into how I discovered it. I was researching this thing in the occult called the Sigil of Saturn. And I'll pull up the image here. You can just search this on, again, Google Images. This image here. This is Wiccan symbols. Now you see that? See the spiral? That's in the Wiccan thing is known as the spiral goddess. So the satanic element of that spiral pedo symbol is the inversion of everything. So this spiral goddess is the mother goddess. It represents what they call the divine feminine. So a well-intentioned religious concept, the divine feminine. There's evidence that supports that our early civilization worshipped religions that were matriarchal, mother goddess, fertility cults. And then our civilization moved away from that and started worshiping, patriarchal war gods, and things went downhill. There were more wars, society became more aggressive, hierarchical, etc., etc. So this Wiccan concept, right? It's the mother goddess, the spiral. Oops. Pull up another image of it just so you can see. See again the spiral, the mother goddess, and then there it is, the boy lover one, right? So the Satanism part, or whatever the fuck these people believe, this weird Satanism, for lack of a better term, but this weird mystery religion, it's all about inverting stuff. So they took something, the divine feminine, and turned it into a symbol that means raping little boys. It's just an added layer of how despicable it really is. It's just like the depths. There's no other word for it, but yeah, it's evil. It's fucked up. It's like something they took something well-intentioned and benevolent and innocent and totally perverted it. It's fucking disgusting. It's just I don't have the words. Anyway. So yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna go back to that thing, that image. Right. So there it is. See that the unicursal hexagram. That's basically the sigil of Saturn. And I found it interesting. You can YouTube it. You can Google it too. It's called the sigil of Saturn. It's also called the sigil of Jupiter. And it's basically like a Sudoku math trick. So it's a box, 3 columns and 3 rows, so like 9 squares in total, and there's the numbers from 1 to 9 in it, and the numbers all are arranged in such a way that each row and column and diagonally, excuse me, add up to the number 15. Then if you add up those rows and columns and diagonal, the 15s all add up to the number 45. then if you connect the numbers in the box in a certain way, starting from number 1 and going like connecting 1 to 2, etc., the way that the numbers are arranged in this box, it gives you that, right? Like, cause like almost like connecting the dots, and that's the sigil of Saturn, the god. The right, we have Saturn Day. There's just all this stuff is just all over the place. We really think that we've progressed, that we've changed, that things are different, and it's just all gets new cosmetic window dressing. The old ancient beliefs never really went away. They never really went anywhere. Like I said, we just changed sort of the window dressing. We added maybe a few new spices or something. I don't know how else to express it. It's just weird. You have to study etymology, so the origins of words. And there's a good conspiracy theorist guy, researcher, Jordan Maxwell, that goes on about it, that you can dissect a lot of words, and you'll see little parts of words that are referring to, right, ancient Egyptian mythology, ancient Mesopotamian, ancient Babylon religions and stuff. Really, nothing is really changing. All this stuff just sort of goes underground. But on this sigil of Saturn thing, it's interesting because it's religious, but it's like a Sudoku math trick thing, and it's just interesting, right? And in ancient times, they would have considered it, right, like magic or witchcraft, but it's like a Sudoku. It's like a numbers game, a mathematical trick.